my name is Megan. Welcome to a Newborn Essentials video. I just had my second baby. Her name is Isla. She's almost 8 weeks old, and while I am no expert at having babies, I think I have a really good grip on things this time around. I've done this once before. It's my second baby, so I have a good idea of like what works for me, what I think is essential, and so I want to share that with you guys today. With that being said, everybody's experience with having babies is unique. Everybody's budget is very different. I'm going to share all of the things that I think are essential, things that work for me, but it may not work for you. These may not be things that you really need. So just because this is a newborn essentials video doesn't mean that everything on the list is essential. Really, what your baby needs is you. I've said that before. It's so important to remember that your baby needs a roof over its head and it needs you. It needs love. Those are the two most important things. But I will link everything that I'm talking about in this video down in the description box below, so you can find all of the information you need there. So with that being said, let me get started. I'm going to tell you all of the things that I'm loving right now, 2 months into having a second baby. Okay, the first thing I want to mention is my diaper bag. I think when you have your second child, you're like, I need like a good diaper bag, because we're talking about snacks for your older child and diapers for your younger one and changes of clothes for both children and possibly bottles. And I mean, the items that need to go in your diaper bag are sort of endless, and it's also your purse, right? Because you're carrying it around, your wallet is in there. Anyway, I really felt like this time I needed like the ultimate diaper bag, something that's going to last, that it's not going to start to break down after a few months like my previous ones have, something that is comfortable because I'm going to wear it all the time and it's going to have a lot of stuff in it, so it's going to be heavy. And also something that looks attractive because I'm going to be wearing it, so I want to like it. I want to feel good in it. I got an Azaria. I got the largest one. This thing is worth every freaking penny, okay? I love it. It's so comfortable. This is in the color chestnut. It is a leather bag, so, you know, it's not going to wear down like some of these synthetic bags you can get on Amazon. Like I said, it's extremely comfortable. It's their largest bag, so it just fits so much. And this is actually packed for the day for both of my children right now, my 8-week-old and my 2.5-year-old. I went ahead and invested in, actually think, I may have gotten this free on a sale. I cannot remember now, but I got the clutch that you can get to match it. And this is where I keep all of my diaper stuff. So it's really nice because when we need to do a diaper change, my husband or I, we don't have to like search through the bag for, you know, diaper stuff. Sometimes it's like emergent, like there's a blowout, like you need to change this diaper ASAP. It's really nice that I can just reach in, I can grab this, the wipes, the diapers, and the changing mat are all in here. I think that is so clutch, no pun intended. And something I want to mention is that you can buy a Azaria bag used on their buy sell trade site on Facebook. So that is one thing I just want to mention as like an umbrella statement. All of these things I'm going to talk about today in my video, a lot of them you can find used, and you should. I encourage you to do that. You can find things that are new without tags, gently used, or like very used. So keep that in mind when you're shopping for some of these items. And like I said, the Azaria brand has a buy sell trade group where you can buy used bags. Okay, the second thing I want to mention is a brand called Gathre. They make all sorts of really nice leather baby goods. I feel like leather and baby doesn't normally go together, but with Gathre, it totally does. It's one of my favorite brands. This is my changing pad. So I fold this up, it goes in my, that's the wrong side. It goes in my diaper bag, and I can bring this with me anywhere and change the baby. It doesn't have a ton of cushion. It has just a little bit of cushion. So that is the only like huge drawback, but I love how small it gets, and I love how easy it is to clean because it's leather. I can just take a baby wipe and wipe it off if I get anything on it. It's really amazing. Also, it's nice to use as just a place to put your baby, a nice clean place. If you ever have to lay your baby down while you're out or set your baby down, you can have this to put underneath your baby. If they're eating, it could be a placemat at a table. It's a really amazing item at a very affordable price. And I, over the last 2.5 years after I had my son, have invested in a ton of their products. I've bought all kinds of cushioned mats and floor cushions. And one of the things that I got this time around for the second baby is their padded changing mat, or their small padded mat. So this one is about the same size as the fold-up one, but it's cushioned. I can use this thing anywhere as a cushioned place to lay the baby in the house. So the drawback of this one is it's not as transportable, but it's really nice to have in the house. And I like it because it's not bulky like some of those changing pads are that you see. I think this is just much more minimalistic, and it's super easy to clean. You don't have to use a cloth like, what am I talking about? Like a changing mat cover. You don't have to use one of those where you have to wash it. You literally just wipe it down. I think this is such a good investment. And I also have one of these in the back of our SUV. So in the summertime when we're going to the beach, going to the pool, and just doing changings, like when we're driving and the baby has a wet or dirty diaper, we can pull over. I can change her right in the back of the SUV on this pad. I don't have to put her in the back seat and lay her down, you know, because some cars, they like slope down in the back. It's really kind of awkward. This thing is so nice to have. I really love both of those items. I think those are both essential items when having a newborn. Another brand that I want to mention that I have invested in with several items from them is Snuggle Me. So I have their breastfeeding pillow. This thing is so cute. I had a boppy last time, but this is like a little like half moon. Just love it. Also, it is so much more comfortable than my boppy. I like that the ends are tapered, so I can sort of like wrap this thing like around me in a better way than the boppy. I felt like the boppy was just so bulky. I could really only put it in front of me in one position, but this one I can actually kind of partially put behind me. So if I'm doing different feeding positions with the baby while I'm breastfeeding, like a football hold, I have more support with this one. It's also just much more softer and cushy. So I feel like I'm not losing the support, but it's more comfortable for me and the baby. So I think this was a good investment over the boppy. I think it's a little bit more, maybe $20 more, but I think it's worth it. And it also comes with these covers. I just have a natural colored cover on it right now. It's almost the same color as the actual cushion itself, but you can just easily take it off and throw it in the washer. I also invested in their lounger. Now this is not something where you use to put the baby to sleep at night or to really sleep in at all. It is supposed to be a supervised lounger. I just want you to keep that in mind. I really like it for when we swaddle her and we just kind of are doing things around the house. It's just a safe place to put her, but you definitely want to keep an eye on your baby because the sides are sort of like they snuggle the baby, and so she can turn her head, and you just never want the baby to roll in it. I like using a swaddle with the lounger because she can't roll in it. She's kind of stuck where she is in that. But it's just a good, safe place to put your baby when she's not sleeping. Snuggle Me does an imperfect sale. So I bought all of my Snuggle Me items through their imperfect sale. I believe they are on Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. Central Time. I'm not sure, but the information is on their website, and I will put the link below. So it's a good opportunity to buy their items at a cheaper price. I've talked about this item before. I freaking love this. This is a tub, okay? This is a tub. It's the Schnuggle tub. I had a Fisher-Price baby bath before, and it got moldy. It was so gross, and I felt like I took really good care of it. So I invested in this. It is basically a plastic tub, and it has a little wedge here in the middle for your baby to sit behind. This thing you can use from birth on until your baby is able to sit up in the bathtub by themselves. We used this, I think, at least till the first year with my son. I just felt like it was a very safe place for the baby to be. It won't mold. That's the other thing that I love about it, because I had such an issue with the previous bath. You know, it's just gross when that sort of stuff happens. You don't want your baby exposed to mold. This wedge here keeps your baby from sliding forward. I haven't really seen anything else that is quite as nice as the Schnuggle Bath. So I'm breastfeeding Isla, and I do not use a pump. I don't think it is something that I really need because I'm with her 99.9% of the time. But in the case of emergency, I feel like I need to have a stock of breast milk. In fact, I am having gallbladder surgery on the 18th, and so I will need to have some breast milk for my husband to be able to feed her with a bottle with. And so I use a Haakaa. This thing is amazing. I think it's such an essential item, especially if you can't afford a pump or you don't have insurance. Or you are like me and you don't want the hassle of using a pump. So this is actually the little lid that goes inside of it so that your breast milk can't spill out. But this is it's technically a pump. This is the Haakaa though. And what this does is it suctions to your breast. And when you're breastfeeding on one side, you can suction this onto the other and it will collect milk. It will collect your letdown and will collect any extra milk on that side. And with my son, I used to like fill this thing all the way up. And I even bought a second one and I would fill that thing. But with my second baby, I don't know if it's me that I'm different now or she's different. I'm not able to fill this, but I'm able to collect some milk. I can usually get like a third, maybe a half on a good day. And I get what I can and I save what I can with it. It's better than not having any, that stuff is like liquid gold. This thing is like, I don't know how much it is. It's under $20 on Amazon. I think it's such a good item to have. Okay, so let's talk about sleep, the Snoo. I have a couple of Snoo videos on my channel if you're interested in seeing a more in-depth review of the Snoo. I basically will not have a baby without one. Like, I'm not signing up to have a baby without one. I'm pretty much done having babies at this point, but the Snoo is my #1 essential item. Basically what it is it mimics the womb. It's a safe place for your baby to sleep. It swaddles them. It has white noise, and it has a slow sort of like motion rocking action that it does to keep your baby calm and soothed. It's amazing. And like I said, I think it's worth every penny. We will basically not have a baby without it. It's that good. To give you an idea of how much I'm sleeping with the Snoo, I put her down around 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night after her last feeding, and she usually sleeps until about 5:30 or 6 in the morning. Sometimes even later, she'll get up and she'll feed again. And she's breastfed and she's only 8 weeks old. And this has been going on from like the second week that we started putting her in it. So first few nights with it was a little rocky. I was kind of unsure. I was like, oh, I might have a baby who doesn't like the Snoo. I've heard that that's a thing. But a couple nights in, she quickly adjusted and she sleeps in it like a champ now. We have suggested it to other people. One of the comments I got from someone was that they didn't understand why we liked it because the baby was just rolling around in there. So let me just say that if you're going to spend this much money on a device, please read the instructions. Your baby should not be rolling around in the Snoo. It should be swaddled in the Snoo. I thought that was crazy. My advice to you is if you're looking into getting a Snoo, look for it used on Facebook Marketplace. You can usually sell it for what you bought it for. I would not suggest buying it new. People do like to rent them. I think that for the price of renting, you're going to be throwing money down the drain. When we're done using it this time, we will have sold it for most of what we bought it for, and so we will have really not spent any money on it. And if you rent, you're spending that money. You're not getting any of it back. So that is my advice to you. My other one is that if you do buy it used, please make sure that the previous owners disconnect the Snoo from the app. That is very important, especially if you don't know the person you're buying it from. You could get it home and not have access to it because it's still connected to their app. So that is a huge, huge, huge thing. Make sure you do that. But yes, the Snoo is amazing. Okay, next up is baby carriers. I have a budget-friendly option and a not-so-budget-friendly option. The not-so-budget-friendly option is definitely my favorite that I've ever had. I've had a lot of baby carriers. It's so good. The Sakura Bloom Scout. I got it on a sample sale. I didn't pay retail value for it. There's also a buy-sell trade group for Sakura Bloom if you're interested in buying one used. It is so comfortable. It is so pretty, and my baby loves that thing. Now, I have put her in a couple other carriers. She loves the Sakura Bloom. Let me just say, it is cozy. But if you're a little bit more on a budget, I would suggest using the Solly Baby wrap. I have mine here. It's like a magic trick right now. This is the one I had from my son. It's just a standard wrap, I think, in most people's eyes, but I have used a few wraps, and the Solly Baby, there's something different about it. This is a little bit more budget friendly. I think it retails for under maybe $65 new, and it is so comfortable for a wrap and has a lot of stretch to it. Some of the other ones on the market, I have seen people wearing them. They don't look comfortable. They don't have a lot of stretch. This is definitely going to be my suggestion if you're going to do a more wrap style baby carrier. The Solly Baby, and also buy-sell trade groups on Facebook. You can find them used on Facebook Marketplace. But if you have the money to splurge, Sakura Bloom is such a beautiful carrier, and I think it's like almost like a heirloom carrier. Like you'll have it if you're having several children, you'll have it and use it for all your children. So there's a million different types of clothes and gowns and sleepers that you can get for your baby. I really love the Lulu & Company gowns. These things are amazing. They're just knotted gowns, but they're very soft, they wash very well, and they're really easy to get on your baby. If you just unbutton these top buttons, they go right up over the feet and up. They don't have to go over the head, which is really nice for newborns. And they have a built-in little hand cover so the baby's not scratching themselves up. These are really great. I really highly suggest going ahead and getting their newborn bundle that they make. That would come with gloves, a hat, or a bow, depending if you're having a boy or a girl, and the most amazing swaddle ever. We really love the Lulu & Company swaddles because they're super, super stretchy. We can get a really nice tight swaddle with them. And that is a great gift for somebody if you know they're having a baby, or a gift for yourself because it makes a really great coming home outfit. So that's what we use for our newborn pictures. That in the hospital we had her in a Lulu & Company gown, this one with her little bow and her swaddles. The nose Frida. Okay, this thing I think people are a little intimidated by it. It's like you don't really want to suck anything out of your baby's nose, but if your baby has silent reflux like my babies do, you need this thing. And also when they're born, they just like have a lot of amniotic fluid in them that needs to be kind of sucked out. If your baby gets a cold, this thing is so good. The little squeezer, little bulb thing that the hospital gives you, it's just, I don't think it's as effective. I really like this because you can kind of turn it and move it around the outside of your baby's nostril and get different angles while you're sucking. It's just quick. And my pediatrician recommends using it with these little Remedies saline drops. So we just squeeze a little bit in Isla's nose and then suck it out with this thing. There is a filter here, so you're not gonna like suck the baby's snot through the tube. Just so you guys know, there's a little filter right here. But yeah, this thing is definitely worth the investment, a good tool to have, and we still even use it with our 2.5-year-old. So I'm not a big fan of like swings and like, I don't know, fancy gadgets, even though I have a Snoo. I'm not a big fan of like little rockers and things, I should say. But I really love the Babybjorn Bouncer. This is something we kept for my son because it was expensive, and I thought, okay, it's easy to store. It's not as big as the Snoo. So I'll just keep this in case we have another baby, and I'm so glad that we did because we literally use it every day. I actually keep it in the kitchen, so if I'm like cooking or doing whatever, she can be in the Babybjorn Bouncer, and this thing, it reacts to the baby's movement. So if she like kicks or moves her arms, it like gently bounces her. And I like that. I feel like it's a little bit more of a holistic approach to those things rather than having her in this like electronic swing that's like moving her back and forth and she's getting accustomed to that movement. Some of these swings, I feel like they are just kind of really going, and I want her to transition into the world and being in the real world and being a baby from out of the womb as smoothly as possible. I don't want her to be accustomed to these like really rhythmic movements. I hope that makes sense. So anyway, I like the Babybjorn because it, like I said, it responds to her movements. Pack and plays. People are always looking for pack and plays when they're going to have a baby. I know that some of them can come with these really like sophisticated systems where it's like all these things, it folds out and it's like this thing that goes on top. We didn't do that. I got a Joovy Room off Amazon, and I love this thing because it's enormous. It's big. It's much bigger than your standard pack and play. It's actually like a square. It's super easy to pack up. It comes with its own carrier case, and we bought this for my son and we will use it with my daughter. Most of the time I'm not using it at home. This is something that's more of like a travel system. So like if we're going out of town, we're going to stay somewhere, we'll take the Joovy with us because we can, open it up. She can sleep in there. It's a safe space for her to sleep. I'm not somebody who wants to co-sleep. I don't think it's safe. So that's why I like having the Joovy Room as a place to put her to sleep if we're traveling. And also, just if we're going to be somewhere, we're going to be outside for a long time, we can bring that and we can open it up and put her in there. It's just really nice to have. I highly recommend it because I think for the price, it's a really good quality over the pack and play and other pack and play type devices that I looked at. Another thing I want to mention is the Ikea Crib. Okay, I bought a nice like $200 crib for my son. We ended up selling it on Facebook Marketplace. This time I got the Ikea Crib. It's $83, I think, with tax, which is crazy. It's behind me right here. You can see it. It doesn't look like this when you buy it. I actually stained it and sealed it so that it looked like more of like an acorn or natural oak sort of look. I have a whole highlight on my Instagram all about it. If you go check out my Instagram, you can see that I'm at Megan Bell Made. And I didn't want to spend the money this time around. I didn't want to like spend $200 on a crib. The Pottery Barn, West Elm, all of these like higher end companies make really beautiful cribs. And I think this one looks just like it. Okay, the last thing I want to mention is the Stokke high chair. Now I know when you're having a newborn, you're not really ready for a high chair yet because your baby is not going to eat food until they're about 6 months old. But a lot of people do put it on their registry, so I wanted to mention it. I think the Stokke, it is very pricey, especially compared to the Ikea high chair, but it is going to be a high chair that can grow with your child. So you can change the different heights they can sit at. You can do different things with it over the years. It becomes like a regular chair for them. But also, it is very safe. You cannot tip this thing. That's what I love about it. I feel like other high chairs I look at and I'm like, that thing could just be blown over by a gust of wind. This thing is very, very hard, if not impossible, to tip. I really love that about it. And it also is very attractive. I like the way it looks in my kitchen. I think it's very aesthetically pleasing. All right, I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next one.